Hello everybody and welcome back to round 17 of the third Limitless Qualifier. We are narrowing down in the last few rounds, coming down to the last few remaining players in top 8 contention. It's the stakes are high, it's getting more and more exciting, and I'm once again joined by Marco. Hey, what's up?
Hello. So yes, as you said, it's already coming down to the wire. We have an exciting matchup. Actually, we have, as you said, Alexis Hormazabal from Chile, who is doing pretty well today, I would say.
Yeah, he's doing crazy good, right? He said currently sitting at, hold on, 16-0.
16-0, yeah.
Yeah, you understood that correctly. He hasn't dropped a single game so far over the course of the tournament, so it's absolutely crazy, and I'm really excited to finally have him here on stream, feature him, watch the game from his perspective. Because, if you go 16-0, it's just...
You're pretty well, I would
how
say.
do you do this even?
Exactly. So yes, he's actually piloting the BB Blast that we have seen a lot of. Actually, I think it was the second most popular deck that people brought, understandably so. And yes, it's just a good deck. Scoop Up Net brought another level of play, another ability to manage your resources, and at the same time, it's still the same deck. It works really well.
Yeah, it has pretty good matchup spread overall. All the other one prizer decks are no longer relevant, so you don't even have to worry about that, basically. And yeah, if you're just consistently pumping out those high amounts of damage, then yeah, there's basically no reason not to play it, right? If you are able to uptrade and stream your attackers consistently, it's just equipped to deal with everything.
Indeed. And an interesting thing that we've seen throughout the weekend is that there weren't many stall decks. That is kind of went down. We saw a bunch, but overall, in day two there weren't many, and there was always few players playing those as well.
Yeah.
But it was the minority once again. Do you think maybe Boss Order finally were able to tone down the strength of mill decks?
Yeah, I think that definitely played a factor because, if you're not able to really do anything with your Pokédolls anymore, you have to try and be creative and find new ways to lock your opponent out of the game or mill them out fast enough. And I think mill decks will pop up again soon. Like maybe not next tournament, but like very very soon we will see mill decks or stall decks, control decks in general coming back to the format because they always like wait and see what's being played and how do you adapt to it and how do you beat it. But actually something that was interesting to me is that there was one of the pools had a mill player at like 12-2 or 12-1 or 11-2 at the beginning of the phase 2 Swiss, but I'm not sure how he's doing right now. So only one mill player doing really well right now.
Indeed. So yeah, his opponent Christian from the Philippines is playing Picarom, the other big contender for this tournament, and I'm pretty sure we'll see our top 8 to be populated mostly by those two decks. But yeah, so Picarom against Persephone, we already had this, I think at least twice. And it's a very interesting matchup because it can go either way. We can see the amazing possibilities that the new speed energy, the Dene, Professor Research, Boss Orders, so many cards for Picarom to exploit and eventually, overtaking the opponent. But at the same time, Stefan can just knock you out.
Yeah, so it always is dangerous. Like, how do you play the matchup? And if like you always have to be, your opponent's always threatening the one shot and the knockout, and trading prizes favorably is really hard. You have to have a game plan coming in. We saw earlier with Jens, I really liked his approach on the matchup. So yeah, I am interested in seeing if we will see a similar strategy here, or if we will see a different approach.
Indeed. Yeah, we're just waiting for the players to check into their match. And let's remember, this is the 4th round. I'm pretty sure if he wins this one, Alexis should be in for the top cut, so we could have already our first contender for the title.
Yeah, I mean, if you go, I think 16, like if you are 16-4, there's a chance that you bubble, depending on the other players. But if you start 16-0, there's a good chance that you will win like at least one of the last remaining rounds as well. So
Indeed,
17-3 is in for sure. I mean, we saw Ross bubble last qualifier with the impressive 16-4 score as well, so that was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I think if you win here, you're basically locked for top 8.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure actually Alexis already faced the other top contenders, the top scorers right now. And
Yeah.
I think he won against all of them. In fact, his opponent Christian is on the 12-4 score. So for him, this is a lose and out match. So he needs to try to take down this monstrosity that that is overtaking everybody else by 16-0. So yeah, let's talk actually about the list that Alexis brought in while we're waiting for them to get into the game. It's a pretty standard list overall. 4 scoop up nets, that's the main addition, and 3 switches as well. So it's really focusing on the switching part.
Yeah, so you want to be able to use multiple Jirachis, multiple, yeah, even. Well, one thing that's really interesting I just saw is like he's playing a Galarian Zigzagoon, which makes a lot of sense with the scoop up net, but we haven't seen in Babylon Sephiron. But it makes sense to me because sometimes you just need it to fix those numbers to make it like. Sometimes you have to commit an extra energy just for measly 10 damage. Example, being like ADP with a big charm attached to it. If you want to do 310, you would have to commit 7 energies. But now you only would need like 6 and a Zigzagoon. And it makes you, your deck function in a way that you have more mileage with your resources. You don't need to be as aggressive because you can fix the numbers. And you overall, I think it helps you play a more resourceful game and play a longer game.
Indeed. And we're already said yesterday. I would be very interested if Pokemon brings more enter the battlefield effects. Thing that once you play them, they do something. But yeah, especially with the scoop up net, that would bring another level of play. Interestingly enough, he does play as well every single Pokemon that you could think for support. So such Mewtwo, Oricorio GX, Zacian V, Victini V. Overall, a very well-rounded list, as you said.
Yeah, I like the Mewtwo as well here, because just putting the Welder back on top of the deck is really, really, really good. You can basically just guarantee your supporter. I think there's no Palpad, so cutting the Palpad for the Mewtwo makes a lot of sense to me, because if you can reuse it, even if you get Marnie, you just draw the Welder if it's put on top of your deck with the Mewtwo. So I really like this inclusion.
Indeed, and Scuba Net just allows you to control your benched Pokemons in a very adequate manner. So you just do the Mewtwo. The problem is always the same. For example, for Mewtwo or the Energy X, you bench it and it's stuck there. But now, obviously, the Dene cannot be brought up by the Scoop Up Net, but things such as the Galarian Zigzagoon or the Mewtwo or even Jirachis can be helpful. We haven't seen yet a play such as having a Blacephalon set up and then you need 3 more energies. And actually, yeah, no, the Scoop Up Net discards the energy, so luckily they fought that well out.
Yeah,
that would have been very broken.
Yeah, if it just picked up everything, it would have been really busted. But yeah, discarding all the cards attached to it is fair enough. Getting rid of the energies, I mean, it's not even that bad if the energies go to the discard pile, because you can just get them back with Fire Crystal. Or the energy retrievals, so I guess it's still fine. You can even save your Blacephalon, get the Blacephalon out of the active spot if you need a Stellar Wish, an extra Stellar Wish to get your combo together for the turn. So yeah, also the Stellar Wish being able to grab the Welder, which would be put on top of the deck with the Mewtwo, is a really nice combo that that we have seen a lot of already.
So we're just waiting for the players. I think they're having some troubles trying to accept each other requests on PTCGO, so please bear patience for a while. In the meantime, we actually have. I mean, I have an interesting question for you, Martin. Do you think that maybe this new set has actually made the game a bit too unhealthy? We were having this discussion before with Philip as well, because now it feels like everything is very fast in a not healthy way. Like games can just last two turns, and we saw this already in the previous meta with ADP. But do you think this is the direction that Pokemon should go?
Overall, I think it's Pokemon for me is like a game where it comes down to strategy a lot, and games where you have only 2 or 3 turns for your decisions to be impactful doesn't really promote like a lot of strategy. And when the game ends in 3 turns, that it can feel a little bit frustrating. And I think I would love that the games would last just a little bit longer and not be over within 2 or 3 turns. So yeah, the amount of prizes cards that could be taken in 1 turn is getting really ridiculous, which
Indeed,
worries me a
indeed.
little bit. And yeah, but I think we will be able to discuss that later as well, because now the players are finally getting
Finally.
into the game.
And yes, Chris, and already respecting Alexis' score up until now, 16 and oh, let's remember this. We'll actually be able to see this guy. Hopefully, we don't bring him bad luck, because we brought bad luck in the past too. Oh no! Just as I say that, he flips 2 tails on the stadium nav. No! I'm sorry, like this is not our fault. Let's just...
Yeah, we didn't want to do this. Really.
Oh
We're
man,
really
so
sorry.
yeah. Brazil has a
Um,
decent start. He will still be able to, I don't know, fetch Azation if he wants to. He even had the hit factory that he was going for in the deck.
yeah, if that
Pretty
was one hit,
unfortunate.
that would have been really busted, because
Man.
you would have ended the turn with like 8 or 9 cards in hand.
Oh,
So
that's a brew. That's a brew for sure. I'm sorry, but yeah. Okay, so anyway, he has an okay start, I would say. He could even go for a Deten if he wants to accelerate in this match. He's in fact eyeing it up, but obviously you need to consider in the moment you bench the Dene, you're asking your opponent to please tag bolt me and take 2 extra prizes. So he needs to be mindful about what Pokemon he benches in this situation.
so he's just going for it.
Fair.
If you go full aggression, then it's fine. You might as
Yeah.
well just bench the Blacephalon here to put it down, because it's really important in that matchup. And I think going first is huge for this deck. Basically, if your opponent doesn't get the turn 1 full blitz, you look to be in a really prime position. But
Indeed,
right
indeed.
there, the Den is not really working out for him.
Not at all.
Maybe he even has to go for another quick ball to grab a Zation.
I think
But
so,
that
yeah.
will fill your bench in a really
Exactly.
dangerous fashion, with
So
three
yeah,
two prizes on the bench.
maybe a slight overcommitting here for the even 3 awful cards to draw off that. The Beastbringer is good, but the other 2 energies, I think he needs a welder right now, and then it can become a good hand. But
Yeah,
right now, Alexis is well, his bench is full, but it's full of dangerous cards to bench against Pikaram. Obviously, Tugbolt is still an important card. It's actually very interesting that many Blacephalon players did not think to tech in the Mew. We didn't see, I think, once throughout the weekend. And there we
yeah.
go, already a great catcher. Eyeing it up, that Blacephalon GX. I do like this, and even a Professor Research. No energies in the discard, however.
No energies in the discard just yet, but we'll get there. Maybe we'll just see a Bolt Hunt this turn, accelerating a bit of energies after we saw like that defensive gust effect trying to slow Alexis down.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah, there
there's a
we go.
tag call, so playing the tag call build, like incorporating a few tag calls, was really interesting. I think we've seen a majority of Pika builds shift over to heavy electromagnetic radar and quick balls only. I don't think we have seen a lot of tag calls. So So yeah,
Well, engine
that's
is
interesting.
interesting. It's usually you to play like 1 or 2 in the Picarom because you had the tag team supporters. He does play, I think, a copy of the Malo and Lana and a copy as well of no, just the Malo and Lana. That's the only one he plays. But it's fair. It's always and actually Guzman Hala as well. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pretty good
both of those
card.
cards actually seem really good in Pika. Like the
Yeah,
Guzmahala seems super busted. If you're essentially going neutral because you go -2, but then you go +2 again with the
yeah,
speed energy.
exactly. And
Um,
Christian here just saying, hey man, I really want to knock out that Pokemon, just give me a Thunder Mountain deck. And there we go, already 2 energies attached on the Pikarom. Does he find the energy? If he doesn't, this could be a prime example of overcommitment. But yeah, I think against Blacephalon, you need to put pressure because the deck is just so threatening once it starts
yeah,
connecting attack. Unfortunately, doesn't find anything. Has to retreat to the Dena.
but also Alexis doesn't have that much going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, like he can go for Burn Confuse, but I don't. I
Just
would
the
like
burst
to.
GX.
Okay, Best JX makes sense as well, but I would personally would have preferred an Intrepid Sword because your hand is pretty
I
dead.
think so as well, especially since he has the Beastbringer in hand. He can just basically do the same effect of Burst GX right now,
Yeah,
and just avoid doing the GX. It's the only GX that he would actually use in his deck. But yeah, drawing this prize right now, I mean discarding it is not too great. As you said, Intrepid Sword would have helped him out. So we'll see actually how this plays out in the long run.
I guess now you're in a position um, where if you knock out, I mean, yeah, the Beatspringer would have done the same thing, but still, regardless of whether he attached it or not, or he did it this way, you still end up in a position where you need to knock out one tag team and then maybe Kramer and snipe it at the end of a game.
Mhm.
So it's not too bad because your win condition is still the same, and the way you win doesn't change by using the GX attack that early. And I think the extra energy would have been rewarding. But yeah, going for an Intrepid Sword there and just going for a Welder would have been really fine as well. So
Indeed, indeed.
I think you can argue in both ways as well. So
Yeah,
now we'll
exactly.
probably see a full blitz coming out.
Indeed, and finally the Picom deck will start roaring. The engine is on. Malo and Lana for the effect of switching out. Probably did not have a switch in his hand. And finally, we'll be able to see the full blitz. This Blacephalon will actually be not knocked out because of the lack of electro power. And decides to go for 2 energies on the Alarm Raichu. That's fine, because as long as you have a tackle, Alarm Raichu is obviously not the best attacker in this matchup. Let's start with that fact. But yeah, I think it's pretty fine right now. Alexis doesn't have anything going on for him, however.
Yeah, the utility Raichu provides in this scenario is like you're probably not getting to attack bolt this game, right? So might as well just try to use the Raichu in a way where you can run to the bench and maybe deny your opponent a prize. Because if
So
you
it's also tag team, so you can tag switch from it. It's just
yeah
on a power outlet right now. It opens up more opportunities, as you say.
yeah keeping all the options open is just key here.
So yeah, I think Alexis here this turn will just have to Intrepid Sword, something
Yeah,
probably.
pretty slow start right here, but that's
Mhm.
what sometimes can happen, right? Also, there's a welder in his prize cards. Not exactly what you
Yes.
like to see, but
No welder still. That's when you play 4 supporters that are the core of your deck, the very essence of your deck. Sometimes you miss out on them. As well, the Picrom deck, which bases a lot itself onto discarding card, accelerating. I think I already used about the only 2 boss orders it plays. I'm not sure. I should have to. We can now double check, unfortunately. But I did saw at least 1 boss order in the
yeah,
discard.
yeah. If there was like, if he was able to pull off a huge combo this turn, that would be insane, right? If you were able to take bolt this turn, that would be really broken. But I don't think you will be able to get there. So you just probably have to settle. Attacking with the bolt hunt here is great because it denies the game plan from the Bustaphone player where he has to go for tag team knockout plus grammar and snipe. Now you have to find your now you have to find your remaining 5 prizes in a different way.
Exactly. So the Cramorant, obviously, Christian is very mindful of the existence of the Cramorant, which you will be able, you know, when you spam the Dennis, eventually will take 2 prizes. So it's better to right now give up Bolton. The opponent does play, I think, a great catcher, but it was already used. I'm not too sure. So yeah,
Still
let's see
no
what he can
welder.
get here. Oh man, Coop Up Net is fine, but you can do
Yeah,
this
just
with
go,
Trick, in which you
go,
have
just
the
yeah,
first Jirachi becomes the third one.
go for another
Oh, there it is.
celebration. There we go. There's finally a welder. So now we will start to see the pace picking up. I'm not sure if there's a great catcher in the Blacephalon list because that would be an amazing draw here. No, there's not actually. Um,
Yeah, no, there's actually no great catcher, as you say.
just
Very
yeah,
interesting.
no gust effects at all. If I read that correctly, like no
I'm
boss's
checking it
order
right
as well.
now.
No boss's order as well. Just a Cramorant.
Sort of reminiscent of the list that Stefan Ivanov used at Malmo. No gas effects, but at the same time, you have the Cramorant, and the Cramorant as well, especially since people playing a lot of the Dennis today,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. So let's
Also,
see. Well, the Mewtwo coming in clutch right now.
the usage of Mew has been going down, as you said, so Cramorant becomes really good, and you don't really have time to play a boss's order, eh, because you need to welder every turn in a game where you trade evenly.
Exactly.
I usually like one great catcher, but I think it's fine to not play it. But my personal preference is just one
Indeed.
great catcher feels really good in this deck because that allows you for huge turns where you just knock out the 3-prizer and basically win the game on the spot.
Indeed, and there we go, another big charm on the Pikachu and Zekrom, which actually gets promoted. Very interesting. Very, very interesting, because right now there are a lot of energies in the discard of Alexis, and we know he plays a lot of energy recursion. So as long as he's able to, just recur them every turn, fetch the cards, he already has a Fire Crystal in his hand.
Fire Crystal is there, Ordinary Rod is also there, so Stellar Wish is also accessible, and yeah, it's looking really good right now. So there's the Blacephalon. No space for Oricorio just yet, but
He
something
can
could
free.
be yeah,
There we
something
go, even
could be
Fire
scooped up.
Crystal. Oh man, this could be already a closure of the game, and that's how fast matches can go today. Just what we were talking
There's
about.
double
And
Fiery Flint and a Retriever as well.
I think he has about 2 energies left in the deck.
You can rod a few back in right now,
Yeah,
but you want
exactly.
to Stellar Wish first.
8. Already well
Already
played. Christian already
I
raising his
guess
hands.
I guess yeah, that's what you expect, right? Okay, not deciding to not go for Stellar Wish first
Yeah, he
because you
got
can
it.
just thin the energies out right there.
Actually, he misses 1 energy. There's the big charm. He needs to be mindful about that.
Yeah.
There are 3 energies, and there's the energy retrieval, so that should do it. Exactly. So yeah, just energy retrieval, fetch back those 2 energies. That puts you to. Oh, actually, it's time 50, so he needs
He
one
would
more.
have
Fire
needed
crystal.
one more.
Yeah,
So he would
exactly.
have needed the Fire Crystal, but there were like 6 outs in his deck remaining, right?
Yes,
He hasn't played any Fire Crystals so far.
He
Yeah,
even had a
that's
scoop up net to, retrieve that Jirachi, try another Jirachi, even a switch. So I think he had many opportunities.
he could have even gone for an Oricorio if he wanted to, so there was basically no way you would ever miss that.
Yeah. So yeah, props to Alexis, 17-0. I think is in. We have our first
17-0.
contender.
Yeah, super crazy. I'm just I don't
Well
know what to
done.
say even. Like
Yes.
it's so crazy, right? How do you even do this? Go 17-0 in a best of 1 format? I don't know. I have no idea.
Indeed, I don't think I have ever seen, even in real tournaments, going clean cut. There are usually not this many rounds into day 2.
Yeah.
So this is amazing.
I've seen people go
Congratulations.
like 9-0 before and day 1 Swiss, but usually day 2 is where it gets really hard because you play against the best players all the time, and then it's not that easy to it's hard to stay undefeated, right? But like this is just crazy. To go 17-0,
So yeah, luckily we didn't give him the commentator's curse. I'm very glad about it. It's the second time it happens. Last time Puka was able to to win. This time Alexis won. So yeah, actually we don't bring bad luck. Feel free, if you're doing well, we'll call you to be featured onto stream, because we don't give bad luck. Don't worry, no pressure. So yeah, I think this will be it for round 4. Stick around, we'll be probably back shortly for round 5. See you soon.
See you